Obesity is at the worst it has ever been in America. In 2018, 42% of American adults above the age of 20 were categorized as obese by the CDC. That's up from 30% in the year 2000, and the trend doesn't seem like it's slowing down. The United States has been fighting a long battle to slim down the country, and it doesn't look like it's winning. Graph after graph shows you how all the efforts have pretty much failed flat. But that failure hasn't been from a lack of trying. Americans are spending more than ever on weight management. In 2019, the year before the pandemic, Americans spent an estimated $78 billion to control their weight. That was a 28% increase from the year 2010. Spending dipped during the pandemic, but it is now back on track. While more Americans throw more and more dollars at their overweight problem, only a few realize how this all started. How we got so obsessed with this weight loss adventure that entirely new categories have emerged on these shopping aisles. When it comes to the weight management industry, there's hardly any name more iconic or more recognizable than Weight Watchers.
I'm watching my shape, I probably always will. But just because I'm dieting, must eating lose its thrill. Not on your life, Buster. 'Cause now there's Weight Watchers, bologna and hot dogs. Weight Watchers.
For 60 years now, Weight Watchers has thrived in an industry it all but pioneered. It started in September 1961. New York City-based housewife Jean Nadech ran into an acquaintance at the grocery store. The talk quickly turned awkward when she mistook Nadech for being pregnant. Nadech loved devouring Mallomars anytime she got the chance, including in the bathroom. She knew she had a problem, and that encounter at the grocery store gave her the clarity of purpose. She needed to lose a lot of weight. Immediately, the housewife called the New York City Obesity Clinic. Here, she worked with a nutritionist, but struggled to reach her weight targets, to the point where she was almost let go owing to the long wait list. While she did her best to keep off the Mallomars, Nadech came to the realization that the obesity clinic and the nutritionist did not offer a support structure that could fast-track results. It's easier for a skinny nutritionist to tell you to keep off certain comfort foods because they've never walked a day in your shoes, she came to believe. So, in January of 1962, she decided to complement the clinic's diet with a good old-fashioned support system. Nadech started hosting a few of her largest friends in her living room at Little Neck, Queens. Her first meeting was with 6 of them. Having already lost 20 pounds from the New York clinic's diet that was big on fish, liver, milk, fruits, and vegetables, she wanted her friends to join in on the same weight loss journey. The first meeting went very well, and by the time the group left her home, they'd all agreed to join her in the diet and to hold the meetings weekly. The next Wednesday, those friends brought friends. And then those friends brought even more friends. Demand grew so fast that Nadech started a second meetup on Saturdays. 2 months later, her house was playing host to 40 people struggling with their weight. It was a place to come and make confessions, give advice, and seek support from people going through the exact same thing as you. The larger number was now meeting in her basement, and they invested in a medical scale to track weekly progress. Out of her own pocket, Nadech gave out gold pins to anyone who lost 10 pounds. Lose another 10 pounds, and she added a tiny diamond clip. Men who met the targets got gold tie bars. Thanks to this support structure she had created, Nadech got a personal win after she achieved her target weight just a year after enrolling at the obesity clinic. These results encouraged her to make it a lifelong mission of informing others how she did it. Word continued to spread, and soon, she was making home visits. In April of 1963, Albert Lippert, a garment executive and member of Nadech's support group, received his award for attaining weight milestones. Having lost 20 pounds since he enrolled into the program, he got a gold tie bar and 3 diamond chips. While appreciative of the effort, Mr. Lippert knew Nadech was not rich and thought she was sitting on a massive opportunity. Despite her objections, Lippert convinced Nadech to commercialize her concept by incorporating a company and moving the operations from her house to a rented space. In the following days, Nadech, her husband, Lippert, and his wife formed the company. Their roles were clearly spelt out. Nadech would run the meetings, while Lippert would run the business. And they named their new company Weight Watchers International.
Weight Watchers has 23 entrees. 23 including chicken sweet and sour, southern fried or cacciatore, spaghetti, ravioli, and...
On the 15th of May, 1963, Weight Watchers opened for business at a space above a movie theater in Little Neck, New York. Word had got around, and on their first day, 400 people were at the doors ready to pay $2 each for a single session. This pretty much ensured the company turned a profit from day one. That unprecedented demand required Nadezhd to host back-to-back meetings. The concept was simple. Each meeting would start with a weigh-in. She then dispensed a diet advice, followed by an open mic session. Finally, each member was issued with a menu for the next week. Soon, Nadezhd could not personally meet the demand, so Lippert, her business partner, suggested that she recruit some of her most successful members as trainers. The new trainers were living proof that the diet and the support system worked, and they too were an immediate success for the company. But why stop there? This was the heyday of franchising.
Franchise. Beg pardon? Franchise. Franchise the damn thing.
Lippert thought their business model would franchise well, so he went for it. Weight Watchers members were allowed to buy a franchise in return for 10% of the revenue. Lippert opted for the razor and blades model, where the franchise was dirt cheap, but the resulting sales would make up for much more. Soon, they were all spreading the Weight Watchers message across the nation and the world. Just 5 years after founding, Weight Watchers had gone international with over 100 franchises in the US, Canada, and Britain. In 1966, Weight Watchers released its first cookbook, selling more than 1.5 million copies. 2 years later, in 1968, the company reached 1 million members worldwide and launched the Weight Watchers magazine, which sold 300,000 copies in its first issue. That same year, Al Lippert took the company public. In the early 1970s, Nadezhd quit as president, but remained as the face of the company. Lippert was left to run the whole show, but he too wanted out. He started looking for a buyer and held talks with the likes of Gillett and Pillsbury, both leading nowhere. By this time, the company had many divisions that had grown too big for Lippert to handle. They included support group meetings, food line, and media and publications, each of them profitable. Finally, in 1978, Lippert found a buyer in the form of the Heinz Company. The purchase price? $72 million. Weight Watchers changed hands yet again in 1999, when Heinz sold it to a private equity firm for $735 million. A couple of years later in 2001, Weight Watchers was taken public once again, and it remains so to this day. Another notable ownership change came in 2015, when Oprah Winfrey bought a 10% stake in the company. However, not even Oprah's name could stop the bleeding that was being occasioned by the countless free apps offering similar weight loss services, and old adversaries like Jenny Craig, SlimFast, and Nutrisystem. Since the year 2004, Weight Watchers has reported revenues of more than $1 billion annually. Over that period, revenue has largely stagnated, but the past 4 years are particularly worrying because it declined sharply. For instance, in 2022, Weight Watchers reported full-year revenues equivalent to its 2004 numbers. This is even more troubling because the company has a vastly bigger product portfolio. WW International, as Weight Watchers is called following a rebrand in 2018 to shed that Your Mother's Diet program tag, now sells everything from cookware, bakeware, yoga equipment, jewelry, digital subscriptions, air fryers, personal coaching, and so much more. But objectively, they've held on pretty well for a 60-year-old brand in a very dynamic industry.